Shalom, Yashalom. Real quick video, fairly quick video, giving all praises to Yahweh by Shem Yahushai by Shem Rakakadash, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shai, double honors to the apostle, elder, bishops, great millstone. My salutation to the brothers teaching word for the hopeful elect, soon to be elect, most high will. To hopeful extended elect, Shalom, blessings. Men, women, and children, contrite spirits returning back to the Most High. I looked up, I asked Google, are rednecks skin red? It said not naturally, no. The term redneck originated as a literal description of the sunburnt necks of poor rural outdoor laborers like farmers who spent long hours working in the fields without sun protection because pale skin burns easily. Now remember, the Native Americans, so-called Native Americans, with the Gadites, one of the tribe of Israel, called them pale face. And pale is also equivalent with, like, if they look faint, giving up the ghost, like they're about to die. And I'll relate it to Esau, because pale skin burns easily, the back of the neck would turn red, leaving a farmer's tan. Now, it's not talking about so-called black people. I want to get some images right here. All red people, and it has a red neck, like we often display and in pictures. First picture, red neck, they had red skin. Now it tells about Esau coming out red all over like an hairy garment, but he came out red. Now it says of Esau as infant, red, ruddy is not talking about ruddy, it's talking about red, like a real red person. But as far as now, it talked about the rednecks being sunburnt. That's the irritation of the skin, and that's what basically what it said in Leviticus about if there'd be a reddish scab, so to speak. Now here it says, I looked up, I think the word leprosy, to be diseased of skin, be leprous, to have leprosy. And then I looked up reddish in the Bible, going back to Leviticus. Leviticus 13:24, it says, or there be any flesh in the skin whereof there is a hot burning and a quick flesh that burneth, they having a white bright spot, somewhat reddish or white, the irritation of the skin, of being stripped of pigmentation. Let me see, going down, you go in that word reddish, and it says Adama Dama, which is kind of like similar to what they said Edomians in the first place. It's not talking about from the ground, Adam. Like Edom's name in Hebrew is Adawam, which is Edom, which that's what he was called, red. Reddish be reddish. So that's a curse, to be red. Reddish. Now, same thing that happened with Miriam, when Moses said, let her not come out, it says Numbers 12:10, and the cloud departed from off tabernacle, and behold, Miriam became leprous, white as snow. And Aaron looked It was actually, Aaron looked upon Miriam, and behold, she was leprous. And Aaron said unto Moses, Alas, my Lord, I beseech thee, not lay not the sin upon us where we have done foolishly, like where we have sinned. And then he further goes to say, let her not be as one dead. Now, when, like I said, going back to that word faint, faint, if you look at faint, that means you're you're ready to give up the ghost, or look like you're ready to give up the ghost, which goes back to that word pale face, because what did Esau say? I am a point to die. What does birthright do to me? I'm faint. He used that word faint. And but it said, let her not be as one dead, of whom the flesh is half consumed when he coming out of his mother's womb. Now they said that was the deformity of the limbs. This is a general statement of how babies come out their mother's womb. All babies. And I pulled up a picture of a black baby that doesn't have pigmentation. He's half consumed because, he doesn't have his color, full color in. It basically is, even after they clean up all the blood, it's still, the black baby still looks like this until, because he's the fullness of his color hasn't come in yet. And his skin is, he's easily irritated, and he can easily turn red when he starts crying and all that. So, same thing, going back to the Leviticus law, where it says you see a reddish scab, so to speak, irritation basically of the skin. And that's what I looked up when I looked up the word rednecks. Sun protection, the irritation of the skin when you're not protected from the sun. It says because pale skin burns easily, the back of the neck would turn red, leaving a farmer's tan. Today, word is colloquial and sometimes derogatory term for rural working class white Americans. Yeah, because it really goes back to Esau. I thought it used as a badge of pride by many within the culture. And just like Jake used his curse as a, as a means, he flips it around and makes it good. Esau flips it around and makes it good. He say, well, yeah, rednecks now. Now it's redneck pride, Redneck pride reflects a working class role subculture that celebrates outdoor tradition, country music, and rugged self-reliance. And it's not because of the handkerchief. It's because their skin red. I just looked it up. Redneck. And it is also a derogatory term. So they are the red people. Esau is the red man. What else did I get? And I looked up reddish. Yeah, I got that. So, look, Adam. I mean, that word, keyword, and there's Adam. And it doesn't say nothing about ruddy right here. It just said reddish. And it also relates to of leprosy, leprous sores. Doesn't say nothing about ruddy. So that's the true And then you go back to, you know, the law of Leviticus. And then it furthermore says chapter 13:25. Then the priest shall look upon it, and behold, if the hair is bright spot being turned white, and it be in sight deeper than the skin, is a leprosy broken out of the burning, wherefore the priest shall pronounce him unclean. It is a plague of leprosy. So he's unclean, but they are full leper. And then if you get if you get the word yellow, that goes back to yellow hair, yellow thin hair. And I broke this down before. Even a leprosy upon the head or the beard, that means let me get that word yellow. So it's talking about them, man. Gleaming yellow of hair, golden in color. Remember the Brady Bunch, all of them had hair gold, just like their mother. Gold is equivalent to bronze. Gleaming yellow of hair. That's talking about blonde hair, man. You know, talking about blondes have more fun. Now let me look up that word blonde right quick. Blonde definition of hair of pale yellow. That word pale isn't there, but it blonde is blonde the same as gold. I forgot how I worded it last time. Blonde and gold are closely related, but they are not the same. Yeah, because when it describes somebody, let me ask this: what is yellow hair? Yellow hair is a natural hue historically referred to as a blonde. If it occurs unexpectedly, brassy tones after bleaching. See? Now, it's not talking about no damn wig. Nobody got a hair like this, natural hair like this. It's talking about right here, blonde, which white people have. Now, you know, black people can have blonde hair, but it's considered a curse. So blonde hair is not natural. You're talking about naturally blonde hair. That's not natural. Because it just said yellow hair is unclean, and then it says yellow is the same thing as blonde. You know, these devils are always trying to get out of being Esau. What else I have? Yeah, nobody has naturally gleaming yellow hair. It's talking about, or golden hair. It's talking about blonde. And if it was golden, such as the gold that you see today, which gold is a precious element, so to speak. That's why I said, you know, elect is going to be made more precious gold. Then that would have been a good thing. It's not a good thing in Leviticus because it's not talking about the actual color of gold. It's talking about yellow hair. It's talking about which is equivalent to blonde hair, which is a curse. And then you say, well, yeah, well, what about black people? Well, that's what it was. But it also, you could have leprosy of the scalp. You could have leprosy of also the skin, like it says. If it's deeper in the skin and deeper than the flesh of the skin, it is unclean and leopard. So this is, so to speak, like half consumed when you come out your mother's womb. It's not talking about your body is deformed or half eaten up, because like I said, it's a general statement. There was nothing wrong with Miriam. She didn't have a baby that his limbs were, because what it say? It said, leave her not as one, meaning, turn her back the other way. Like it didn't say nothing about putting limbs back on, or whatever. Or even what Moses said, it said it turned to his other flesh. When Most High said an example of, pulling his hand out his bosom, turned to his other flesh, meaning he turned back dark skin. And that's in Exodus 4:7. And he said, put thine hand into thy bosom again. And he put his hand into his bosom again and plucked it out of his bosom. And behold, it was turned again to his other flesh. Flesh is actually your skin. It talks about that in Job. Skin, flesh. For flesh, I think it says. But still, it's talking about the same thing. Flesh. The body itself. Mankind. Most High didn't make mankind red. There's a melanin, like the soil and the dirt of the dust of the ground, just like it says of Adam. He was made from the dust of look. Self-skin. And kind nakedness, self-skin. Just like that baby I told you. He's naked and he's bare and his skin is irritated because he just came out of his mother's womb. But he'll get dark as this woman when his melanin kicks in. Remember, the blood is already wiped off of him. Same thing with this baby. So they are Edomites. Edom is still here today, like I said in that other video. And these devils, Edomites up on the earth. Most High got a hatred against the Idumeans, Edomites, the red people. It's only one red people on the earth, man. Everybody else is melanated. East Indians, Moabites, so a lot of them Moabites too, they're Edomites because they mix. You can go, going back to Mongolians and all that. But, for the most part, Moabites, the Japanese and Chinese used to be more dark skinned. I've said a picture before. They had more melanin. Looked more like this instead of, the Jackie Chans and all that. What's another one? And some of them were Jakes. But they were, like, it's in comparison with, So they're not white people, man. They're red people, and they call themselves white because, white in the Bible a lot of times refers to pure. As it said in Merriam Dictionary, white is innocent, pure, free from sin, and these people are far from that. Only dark-skinned ethnic group in China. another one. So, you know, like I've made a video, they experience racism among all nations with the dark and light skin thing. But Esau is not either light or dark, he's just red. His blood, like the apostles say, across the heart, his blood shows through his translucent skin. Anyway, that was just an example. I was using these Moabites, but yeah, you know, hopefully that'll find you next video. Shalom.